Hello world, and welcome back to part 3 of Hello Wordle. In this tutorial series we are learning how to create our own Wordle game in Thunkable. We started off this series by importing our UI design from Figma, connecting all that together. In the second part we built the grid that you see here, and we added the ability for users to type in whatever they want on the screen here. So in today's tutorial what we want to do is add some extra functionality to our game. First thing we need to do is cap the user input to 5 letters. Currently they can type in as many letters or as many words as they want, so we want to cap that to 5. Then we want to add multiple guesses to the game. So at the moment we don't have any guessing functionality, so we're going to add 6 different guesses for this version. Then what we want to do is allow users to delete the letters. So once we're able to guess, once we're able to enter letters, guess by guess, we're going to add in the functionality to delete individual letters from the grid. And then finally, by the time we finish up today, it's a slightly longer tutorial, we want to do some basic kind of pattern matching here. So we want to check, does the Wordle, does the answer contain the letter that the user has typed in? And in which case we'll show it in that distinctive yellow color. And if the user has guessed the right letter and it's in the right place, then we are going to display that or highlight that label in green. So the first thing we want to do is cap this user input to 5 letters, and we've got to ask ourselves just 2 questions here. What do we do if it's less than or equal to 5 letters in length? And what do we do if there are more than 5 letters? So hopefully that should call to mind this kind of if, then, do, else. If this, do something, otherwise, else, do something alternative. Okay, so at the moment what we're doing is taking the text from the text input and converting it into a list, and we go through every single letter in the list and display that in one of our 30 labels that we have on the screen. Now in reality that's not how the Wordle game works. We can only enter 5 letters at a time. So what we're going to do here instead is we're going to measure the length of this list here called list of letters. We can do that using the length of block. So we put in length of like this, and it's got a little sample list there for us, an example list here with the letters A and B. We don't need that, so let's just delete the list here A, B, and instead we want to use our own list of letters called list of letters, like so, and we want to check, is that length, is it less than or equal to 5? So in math here, grab this number out like that, pop it in there, and if we are up to somewhere between 1 and 5 letters in length in our list, we're going to go ahead and display them in one of our labels. If, however, the user tries to type in extra letters into the text input, we're going to just truncate, or we're going to chop off those letters from the end. So we'll set the text input to be a substring, it's called. So get a substring from 1 to 5, letter 1 to letter 5. Again, 5 is the length of the game, so maybe this could be broken out into its own variable if you wanted to, and we want to get the substring of text input 1 itself, just like that. Okay, let's just take a quick look here. So we're capping this at 5. That's the length of this game. If you wanted shorter letters, this would be a 4, and of course that'd be a 4. If you wanted a longer word, it could be a number bigger than 5. But let's try type in like that. Excellent. We don't have any guess functionality added in yet, but that's the next step to do here. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is allow the user to add multiple guesses to the game. In order to do that, we are going to create a new variable, and it's going to keep track of which guess we are on. So if we look at our grid, there are, in this example, in this grid, there are 6 possible guesses. You get 6 attempts at guessing the word, and yeah, we want to keep track of where we are in the game. So we are going to create a variable. We're going to call it a guess number, like this, and for reasons that will become apparent in just a moment, we're going to give it a starting value of 0. So that's important. We're going to do a little tiny bit of math here in a minute, and we want to start this off at guess number 0. Okay, now that we have that guess number variable set up, we want to actually start making guesses. So we're going to add in all of our checking functions to see are the letters in the word and are the letters in the correct place in that word. But just for now, what we'll do is reset our list of letters. And this time we're only going to have 5 letters at maximum in it. What else do we want to do? We want to increase our guess number. So change the guess number variable. So I've got a set, I've got a change. We're going to change our guess number. We're going to start at guess number 0. We're going to go to guess number 1. The game will end, I suppose, if we get to guess number 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is how we're going to count through this. And the final thing we want to do is clear out that text input. So we want to get rid of their previous guess, like so. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's test this out in our web preview. We can go through some of our Wordle best guesses. Let's guess avoid. Let's guess crane. Excellent. Okay, so what we need to do here, you can see it just keeps helps. You can see it keeps writing over the first the first row over and over again. And this is where the little bit of math comes into it. What we're going to do is, at the moment, we're just going from label 1 to label 5. And for guess 2, we want to go through for the next 5, 6 through 10, and so on and so forth. So rather than using I, which is just the number between 1 and 5, what we're going to do is we're going to do a tiny bit of arithmetic. We're going to add I onto the product of where's it gone? Our guess number, and we're going to multiply that by 5, or we could do it the other way around if you want, but same difference, same. And let's pop I in here and let's take a look at what's happening. And this will allow us to go from question to question. So guess number 0, 5 zeros gives us 0, and that allows us to enter in the first row. The next guess, we're going to go to guess number 1, and then that will be 5 plus 1, that will give us label number 6, so we'll put the first letter of our second guess in label number 6. And that continues all the way down through the grid and allows us to enter multiple different words. So avoid, let's guess that. Then let's try crane. Excellent. And what about that? Some Wordle heroes. Excellent. And it allows us to enter a new guess into a new line. Now that we have individual guesses set up, we want to allow the user to delete letters from their guess. So again, 2 different possibilities. If there is no letter, we want to clear out that label in the grid. If there is a label, then we want to show it. And again, very similar to what we saw in the first step, you want to use the if, do, else block. So in this case, to get the deletion working, we want to not just go through the list of letters, but we want to go through everything from 1 to 5, and we want to check whether or not there is a value there. So again, our if, do, else. If it's empty, we're not going to show anything. If there's something in it, we're going to just reuse that value there. So if the if the letter doesn't exist, or if there is no letter, we can do that by using this value in the logic blocks that says null. So what we're going to do is set that label to be an empty piece of text, like so. We just put in we don't want it to say button. We want it to just be an empty piece of text. So delete out all of the characters there. So we go through in our list of letters, we count from 1 to 5, and we check whether or not that label should have some text in it or not. So let's see, does that work? Going forwards and backwards. Lovely. Okay. So as we delete out those letters, they get removed, and let's guess this one. and yeah, exactly. You can delete them out from the correct guess as well. Okay, now that we've got the first 3 bits of functionality added, we are going to start checking the word, or we're going to set a reference word, and we're going to see whether or not we have the right letter in the word, and if that letter is in the correct place. In the final part of this tutorial, or the next part of this tutorial series, we're going to add in a dictionary of multiple words that we can go through. But to get started, let's just create a reference word like this, and we can do all the conversion directly. So we get Wordl, let's say, let's create that list here. Let's use this one. Like so. And we're going to have, in this case, a 5-letter word. 3, 4, 5 letters like that. Click this blue one to toggle that little menu. Like that. And let's just set our answer to crane. Like this. Okay, and so in our guess function here, or in our guess button, when it's clicked, we want to go through each of these letters, and we also want to go through each of our list of letters, and we want to check whether or not the list of letters contains one of the letters from our Wordle. Okay, so rather than trying to explain it, let's just build it out here. We want to go through each item in our list of letters, like that, whatever the user has typed in, and we want to check whether or not the Wordle contains that letter. So this is each letter. If you wanted to, you can rename this. So let's call these each letter in the list of letters, and we can check does the Wordle contain that letter. So again, same scenario as we've seen before, I suppose. This is again pretty simple. It doesn't accommodate, I think, duplicate or repeat letters, but we can add that in a later step. So does the list, okay, like that, does our word list contain our letter, like this? Does our Wordle contain the letter? And there are 2 possibilities. So there's our letter there. There are 2 possibilities here. If it does, it's either in the correct place or it's in the incorrect place. So we can actually do both of those things at the same time. And we want to check are the 2 locations the same. So a little bit of logic here. If you want to find the first occurrence, so let's go to lists, and let's in each of those lists find the first occurrence of the letter, like that. So we have our Wordle and we have our list of letters, like that, and we want to find whereabouts that letter lives. So in our Wordle, and we'll change this one over here to our list of letters. We can get rid of some of these stray blocks over here that we're not using anymore. Okay, and if they are, all we're going to do is set the set the label color of that particular label. So we actually need the same logic as what we've used up here. We need to get the correct label, and we want to change its background color rather than its text. So this allows us to get the correct label, like that, and we want to change its background color property, like that. And in the Figma file that we used earlier, you can use the little eyedropper tool, and you can find out what the color codes look like. What do we want here? So the successful one, if it is in the right place, that is 5580. A05E, 55, A05E, and again, yeah, you can just copy in these values, and then this is C6, B567, B567. Okay, so remembering now that our word is crane, let's test this out. Let's pop this up on screen for a second, just so you can pause and you can screenshot, you can do whatever you need to do with it. But let's test this out. So the correct answer was crane. Let's guess. Are we on the wrong guess number, I wonder? Alright, so we're able to spot what the issue was here. As you can see, I made the fatal error of copying and pasting some of my blocks. So I, the variable I have here, only exists within the scope, within the context of this loop. And obviously we can't use I over here because we don't have an I variable in this block. So what we want to do instead is I corresponds to some number between 1 and 5, and that this block here will, again, it's not perfect. It's not going to work for duplicate letters, but this will get us going, at least with a playable demo. So we've got crane as our reference word here. Let's guess that. The word ends in N and E, so they're in the correct place, and we shouldn't have I highlighted here. So let's guess craft. Excellent. Must find out what was wrong there. We need an else, I guess, is it, maybe, to get that working correctly. Crane, like so. Okay, so we have the bare bones, we have the basics of this working. In the final tutorial, like I say, we are going to add in a dictionary, so you can choose or you can program in any words that you want, and we will tidy up this function here to include or to consider duplicate letters and different letters in different places, and do any last little bits of troubleshooting. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to see more of them, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next one.